In this video, we're going to be going over a lot of MyLEAGUE and MyGM information about 2K16. I made a part 1 to this video where I went over team relocation and MyLEAGUE Online. If you guys have not seen that yet, go check it out. I had to split these into separate videos because just one video would have been way too long because there's just so much information that they revealed here. But in this video, we're going to be going over the off-season, we're going to be going over Summer League, the new draft systems, all that type of stuff, and we'll go ahead and jump right into it. So, starting things off first with the NBA draft and the draft lottery. We really haven't had anything too special with these in the past. It's basically been kind of straightforward, especially the draft lottery. And the draft lottery now has a new presentation system. It's no longer just that boring, flip the teams and see what the order is. Now it actually has the Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum, and he's announcing the pick order, and it also has reporters kind of talking about each team's situation as their pick gets revealed. So it adds a lot more suspense to it, it adds more presentation, and that's definitely a step in the right direction. And you don't want that stuff to last too long in the first place. It's really time consuming and stuff, so I think that sounds really good. As far as the NBA draft goes, they're no longer having the whole Madison Square Garden Adam Silver up there announcing the picks presentation. There's now no physical thing. You're not actually in Madison Square Garden. Now it's just a presentation screen, and the entire process goes a little bit faster. It lets you simulate picks faster, but it still gives you a presentation aspect. But all of the focus, the main focus, is going to be focused on the top 3 picks. So the top 3 picks are going to have a huge presentation screen. You're going to have analysts going over those players and talking about that pick. And then once you get past that, everything will kind of like simplify a little bit, and the process will go a lot faster, so you don't have to spend as much time within the draft when you're playing through it. Because in past years it has lasted quite a while and you couldn't simulate through picks too fast. In my opinion, I didn't mind it too much because obviously I'm a huge fan of the draft. I make draft classes and stuff, but that's no big deal really. I think this will still be a good little change. Next, let's talk about the new staff hiring system, and this is something completely new. In the past, the staff hiring has been very straightforward. You basically go to the screen. If you have a coach that has an expiring contract, you either re-sign him or you sign a new coach from the coach pool. Now that is completely different. This is now a 7-day system, and during that 7-day period, you can actually have a full promotion system within this. So you can promote assistant coaches to head coaches, you can promote scouts to assistant coaches, and so on and so forth. And then you can even try to hire coaches away from other teams. So if you don't want to promote, if you're seeing an assistant coach on another team looking good, in this article they use Nate McMillan as an example. It says, if you think Nate McMillan is doing a solid job as the assistant coach for the Indiana Pacers, you can approach the Pacers and ask for permission to speak to him. So that's very cool. That's something that happens in the NBA a lot. Obviously, we saw that this offseason with Alvin Gentry, who is an assistant coach with Golden State. The Pelicans decided to hire him away from the Warriors as their head coach. So that's something that happens in real life, and now you're able to do that in MyLEAGUE and MyGM. Now here's the catch. This can happen the other way as well. So other teams are going to be able to try to hire away your assistant coaches, and you actually have to grant permission to whether or not they can speak to your assistant coach. So it seems like, oh, well, if I want to keep my assistant coach, I'll just say no, they don't have permission. It doesn't work quite that simply either in MyGM, because obviously with the personalities, if that coach has like one of the badges where he wants to become a head coach at some point, and you're denying permission for other teams to speak to him, his morale is going to go down, and that can hurt your team chemistry, hurt the development of your other players, because he wants to become a head coach and you're not giving him that opportunity. So those are all things that you have to balance as well, and that's just an overall really good system. I think this is going to add a lot to the offseason, because coaching changes and stuff like that happen so much in the NBA, and it needs to be more of a focus in these modes, and it looks like they have taken steps in the right direction to make that happen. Also, coaches and assistant coaches and stuff like that can become GMs later on down the line. In this article, he talked about an interesting story that happened to him. He basically said that he hired Ray Allen as an assistant coach at some point, and then the Hornets ended up giving him a chance to become the head coach. So they hired him away from his team to become the head coach. And then a few more years down the line, he was trying to negotiate a trade with the Celtics, and Ray Allen was actually the general manager of the Celtics. So it's cool how that stuff can happen as well. So you can see some surprises. You might see some former players become coaches, and then they become either even higher coaches and higher up the ladder, and maybe even GMs. So I think that's definitely a nice feature, and I'm really excited about the staff hiring system in 2K16. Now let's talk about Summer League, and Summer League is a huge addition to these modes. Everybody was really excited when 2K announced this for the first time, and I was super pumped because Summer League is a huge part of the off-season, and it's a really cool thing to have in the game because it gives you the opportunity to play with some players that you normally wouldn't get to play with. You got some guys in there that are undrafted or some late round picks or even just the high rookies that you can play with before the season starts, and you get to actually try those guys out and play with them before you get into the season, and you get to play with some guys that normally wouldn't get very many minutes at all. So that's really cool in the first place. But we have the full official Las Vegas Summer League within this, as well as the 2K Summer League. Now, the 2K Summer League essentially works the same as the Orlando Summer League in real life. Apparently, they couldn't get the rights to the Orlando Summer League, so you're going to have the official Las Vegas Summer League, which has the exact same format as in real life, and then the 2K Summer League is going to only have 4 teams, and it's going to work pretty much the same as the Orlando Summer League. So that's a very good opportunity to play with those guys that you've drafted, play with some other guys, and just see how they do, and maybe you want to give them an opportunity to make the team. Here's an interesting thing that he mentioned in this blog post that happened to him. Now, he's a developer, and he didn't even see this coming, but basically he said he was playing a Summer League game, and like halfway through the second quarter, the 76ers make some substitutions. That's the team he was playing. And in comes from the bench Greg Oden. So the 76ers actually signed Greg Oden to a Summer League deal, and he was trying to make an NBA comeback. And at the end of the day, he didn't actually end up making the team, but that's the type of stuff that adds so much authenticity to the game. You have guys trying to make comebacks, you have those surprises within Summer League, and you have a lot of guys playing on those rosters that, may not even end up making a team, but they're getting that opportunity. So I think that was a really cool thing, and I'm super excited to have Summer League in 2K16 this year. The last thing that happens in the off season is the 2K Hoop Summit, and I'm very excited about this. Obviously, as a big time draft fan, I love this idea, and it's called the 2K Hoop Summit. And basically what this is it's just one game at the end of the off season where you get to play with the best players in next year's draft class. And you got a USA team and you've got a world team. Obviously the USA team is comprised of the best domestically born prospects, and then you've got a team with the international prospects. And this is very cool because you get to try these guys out before you get into the next offseason, see some of the guys that you like playing with, and maybe target them, and you can kind of plan your scouting going forward into the next season. So I'm a huge fan of that addition. I think that's going to add a lot of fun to the end of the off season. Next up, let's talk about team building, and this is an entirely new system. This is like kind of the brains of the mode. The team building is like the logic systems within the mode. And as you guys know, obviously there are logic systems. You've got trade logic, you've got signing logic, all that type of stuff. And this year they've kind of reworked that, and they've continuously improved it over the years, but this year it's been more focused on how teams are thinking as far as the future goes and what situation they are currently in. So in past years, they've kind of just made trades and signings based off of, how good the player was. There wasn't, forward-thinking logic. They weren't thinking, okay, is this a good move for the future? Okay, is this the type of move we need to be making right now? So they have changed that, and now they have a team intel screen that you can go to, and each team has like a certain situation. So first off, teams now have the ability to be forward thinking. They don't think about just right now. They don't see a trade and be like, okay, that can help us out right now. They now think towards the future. So each team is going to have a certain state that they are in. They can decide whether they're a team that's rebuilding, if they're selling, if they're contending, or they're buying. So if a team is rebuilding and you offer them a good veteran player for, some of their prospects or some picks, they probably won't be willing to do that because obviously they're in rebuilding mode, so they want those young developing players and they want those picks. But if you were to trade, you know, a good veteran player to a contending team for some picks, they would probably be willing to do that because they want all the help they can get, because they know they're right there. They can contend for a championship and they could use all the veteran help that they could get. And there's those situations that really make things work realistically, and I'm really excited to see how this works because it seems like a very, very good idea, and this is the type of thing we needed. Now, as far as that team intel screen, I'll show a screenshot right here. This is where you can go to the team and you can see what their plan is and kind of see what they're doing. So you got their roster right there, you got their lineup, and then you can see what mode they're in. You can see in the screenshot the Celtics are in rebuilding mode. It says the Celtics don't have any players on the trading block, so you can see players that they're looking to move. You can see the players they want to acquire, which in this screenshot doesn't look very realistic. Like, it says the Celtics want to acquire LeBron James, Pau Gasol, and Al Horford. I think everybody in the league would want to acquire LeBron James, but that's something that hopefully won't happen very often. Like, I don't think that LeBron should really ever be moved from Cleveland for really any situation at all. So hopefully that's not an issue, but we'll have to see about that. You also have the ability to see expiring contracts on that team, and you can see the players that that specific team considers untouchable, and that's very, very good. There should be untouchable players. LeBron, for example, he should be untouchable. There should be no trade that can happen that would cause the Cavaliers to trade him to a different team. That just completely shouldn't happen. Same with Kobe, it shouldn't happen. There should be untouchable players. Tim Duncan, there should never be a scenario where they would be willing to trade him. And I think that's a very good system. Hopefully it works well. And there are actually situations where teams will turn down very good trade offers because it doesn't really line up with their situation. So that's very good for the logic. There have been times, again, where a rebuilding team would trade away young players and picks to get a good veteran player when really that didn't make sense. Hopefully with this new logic system, that won't happen, and I'm very excited to see, you know, how this is all going to work, because it sounds like it is going to work very well. So I'm actually going to wrap this up right now, and I'm not going to go over Simcast and the ticker and some of the little things. I'm going to do that in my next video, so make sure you guys go check it out. I'm actually going to put up both of these videos at the exact same time, so you guys can go straight over and watch that one as well. So hope to see you guys over there. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think of all this information in the comment section below, and I will talk to you guys later.